Hey guys, what's up and welcome to another video. It's been quite a while since I've sat down in front of the camera and just wanted to have a conversation with you guys, but this is something that's really been on my heart for quite a while, and it's something that in the last few days, in light of what's happened with Hardcore Tokyo and all the information that's come out about that underground car meet that he threw earlier this year that I actually was there and filming for, it's been on my heart even more. So I really want to try and talk to you guys and start a conversation with you and get some solid feedback from you in the comment section about whether you agree with me, disagree with me, and we can do some more videos on this in the future, get some other people in to, talk about it and stuff in future videos. So yeah, let's talk about this. Car culture, car community, and everything about it in Western culture. Does it make you feel like you've got a bad taste left in your mouth when you walk away from a car meet, or you just been hanging out with a whole bunch of friends that love cars and everything? Like, does it still make you feel like something's missing, something isn't right about it? And like, you see all the publicity about it on the news, you see all this stuff on social media, people just smashing one another and saying your car's gross or it's ugly because you didn't do what I think is cool. Or people that are just drifting their cars, these cars that they buy cheap, they're smashing them, don't care, zero F's given is I guess the phrase that they use, and they smash them and do kamikaze stuff with them, and then they're just like, oh, well, send it off to the scrapyard, take their good bolt-ons off it, and then just go buy another one, and they just keep doing that cycle every few events. People that aren't respecting and honoring what the car actually is. Do you feel like the community itself is going down and it's not going to actually exist anymore? I think these are all very big subjects and things and issues that are happening that we've all been turning a blind eye to, and we all have I think we all think about this in the back of our head, and we wonder what it's going to look like in the future. Is it going to keep going? Is it going to sustain itself? And I think the reality is it's not going to sustain itself, and if we don't change soon, everything that we know about the car culture is not going to exist anymore. So the first thing I want to talk about is this car meet that happened before this year's Tokyo Auto Salon. It was awesome. Hardcore Tokyo, they're a company based here in Japan. They sell like really cool apparel and stickers and stuff like that all around the world of people that just, love JDM car culture stuff, which is great. It's awesome, And Falcon Tire and Super Street Magazine from the USA wanted him to throw on an event for them so that they could do a photo shoot for the magazine, Super Street Magazine. So he threw on a car meet at the Dex, like multi-layered underground car park kind of place, and it blew up. As you guys saw in my video, I'll maybe throw some footage here. It was huge. There was so many cars. It was one of the best meets I've been to. It pretty much was exactly like what you saw in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and by all means is the best car meet I've ever been to in my life. Everyone inside the car park was just well behaved. Everyone was talking, there was music going, there were models there. Like, it was everything that you would have thought like to have seen. Everyone was just so polite, and it was just great. So many different cars, so many awesome people. Unfortunately, the police broke up the entire event and everything like fell apart. Unfortunately, what happened was some people started doing some burnouts. It seems like all the information that I've managed to gather is that there were foreigners, Americans who live on base here in Japan. If you don't know, since World War II, Japan signed a treaty with USA saying that they weren't ever going to have an army here in Japan. Essentially the USA supports them and looks after them and defends them. And because of that, there's lots of American bases all across Japan. A lot of Americans are, obviously, they're signed up here. Well, they're not signed up here. What's the word? They get like assigned to the base here for a certain amount of years. And what a lot of them do is they buy Japanese cars because they love Skylines and stuff like that, which is totally fine. No problem. It's just unfortunately that they bring their car culture from the States of doing skids to leave and burnouts everywhere and stuff like that they think is okay in Japan. That totally isn't. And obviously what happened was, they did some burnouts in the car park and outside of the car park when they were leaving. The moment that happened, the police were called and rocked up. And the whole event got shut down. They weren't letting anyone into the car park anymore. And all these cars were all getting told to turn away. And yeah, it was huge. Like, the event itself was a success, but then it turned into a massive failure and a disaster because of the actions of some few people. Now, I'm not obviously saying that only American people or only foreigners would do that in Japan. higher percentage of those people do because they don't understand Japanese culture and how they need to respect the authorities and stuff like that. And you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be racist and say that only foreigners would do that. There are a group of Japanese people, that do break the law. They rebel against things, like the Bosozoku guys. They have a very big issue with authority and they want to tell the police to get stuffed. So, they go drifting and they get their mates on their bikes to circle the police to stop them from getting to the drifters, and they drift and stuff all around in the cities and the suburbias, annoying everyone around them, keeping people awake that can't sleep, and all that type of stuff. And then there's a different group of drifters that like to go drifting, like grassroots guys out in the toge in the mountains and things, that don't disturb like the public and keep people awake at night and cause problems, that are respectful of the general public, making sure they're not driving during times when other people will be on the mountains and stuff like that. Still illegal, but less frowned upon because obviously they're not on the news every weekend and a big issue and causing problems. One thing that a lot of people don't know is drifting is actually still got a bad taste in people's mouths here in Japan, and it's not considered a professional motorsport yet. That is because of all the bad rap that it gets from these particular groups of people that are still drifting in the cities and the suburbia and stuff, that are running from the police and causing a lot of problems. Anyways, that's another whole topic. But I'm just trying to say that those people do exist in Japan and they are Japanese. But what's actually kind of interesting is the majority of those guys now are foreigners. So, that is a little bit disappointing. I think foreigners, especially quite a lot of Australians that live over here in Japan, are involved in those groups. But anyways, that aside, what happened at the event was the person who organized it, the owner of Hardcore Tokyo, got stung hardcore. The police, because he is a business and he advertised the event on his business Facebook page, and then there was videos on social media coming out of people breaking the law, doing burnouts and drifting on the way to the event. Throw that video up here for a bit. They threw the book at him hard. They got him for public nuisance, sound pollution, preventing business. So because there were so many cars there and a big traffic jam happened, they stung him because other people couldn't get to businesses around in the local area because of the traffic jam. Anyways, they threw him in jail for up to 21 days, searched his office, his home and everything, looking for things they could sting him on. And all because of the actions of a few foreigners who did burnouts. And what's really sad is Falcon Tire and Super Street didn't give him any support. They completely were like, hey, we don't know anything about this. Which sucks because, as far as I'm concerned, if I was one of those companies, I would be paying for his legal bills and fines and stuff to say, hey, you threw this event on for us. It's unfortunate what happened, but, this is what we owe you because, we asked you to do this event. Here's our support. They're not supporting him whatsoever, which sucks. Anyways, long story short, he managed to get out of jail in the period while he was waiting for court. Everything that he was getting pinned on, he was going to spend up to 6 months in jail, I think it was. He managed to get out of it, and they said that's, essentially, they said he just needs to pay a big fine, which is roughly around $7,000 Australian, $5,000 USD, around there. Anyways, and because he hasn't got any support from Super Street Magazine or Falcon Tire, I'll throw a link to the article. It's bad English, but you get the gist of what he's trying to say and explain everything that happened and how he needs help. And at the bottom of the video, at the bottom of the blog, he's put there a link to buy a shirt to help fundraise and put money towards paying off that fine so that he doesn't have to go to jail, because if he doesn't pay it by a certain date, he'll get thrown into jail. So that aside, that sucks. I think that any companies or anything involved in car culture and car community, they need to support one another. And if anything goes sour like that, they need to have 100% support and making sure that they look after one another. So it's really sad and disappointing that happened, but it's not the first time we've seen this type of thing happen here in Japan, where foreign companies try and get Japanese companies to do something for them. The moment something doesn't go to plan, they literally just we don't know anything about it, and just completely cut ties and no support whatsoever. A big thing about Japan is you look after one another and you support one another and you honor and respect everyone. So that's kind of very disappointing and something that I really want to see change. Anyways, that aside, that's kind of business related stuff. Let's talk more about people in general, like the community and the culture in Western worlds, like America and Australia. So as you guys know, I just came back from Drift Mitsuri in Australia, and after spending a lot of time here in Japan in the drifting culture with Oko-chan from Yashio Factory and stuff, going back to Australia, seeing what's going on and coming back, I really kind of realized that there's a few issues that we need to touch on and that need to change, or the car community is going to dissolve and not become a thing. And, after Okachan came back, we had a really good conversation, me and him, where he was just saying that this, going back to Australia and seeing all of that, is it reminded him of Japan 15 years ago. And I asked him, I was like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And he said it was a bad thing. And I was like, oh, why? Why is that? And he explained that 15 years ago, people didn't really focus on their driving skill and try to improve that. All they cared about was saying, hey, everyone, look at how awesome I am. Look at all these shiny things in my engine bay. Look at all this money I've thrown at this car and just swapped this engine in with that. And now it's not reliable and all these other issues can happen and stuff like that, right? And it was not only that, but people didn't treat their cars with respect and actually understand that, hey, this car is kind of valuable. It can't be replaced. It's special. And, lots of people in Australia and America, they just buy these missiles and smash them and bash them and all this kind of stuff and don't respect the car and then just toss it aside, resell it, get another car because they're cheap and easy to replace. They just throw money at it, right? And he said that was a big issue 15 years ago in Japan, and the car culture really suffered because of it. And as a result of that, the wrong type of people were drawn into it, and everyone was influenced incorrectly, and it created this whole culture of people that just trashed cars and then crashed their cars drifting on the side of the mountain, then just took their belongings out of it and went, and left it there. Had all these issues where people were just like, oh, it's okay, I can get another car cheap as hell, and it doesn't bother me. Just, all these problems and issues like that where people just weren't respecting one another, weren't respecting the cars. And I think right now we're in a time where these cars are now classics, they're old as hell, and they're starting to become irreplaceable. Parts are becoming harder to find. The price of things are going up. America's now pretty much taking a whole bunch of them. There's a huge supply and demand there right now of people that want to get their hands on these Japanese cars, which, isn't an issue. It's helping the economy here in Japan and all of that. But everyone needs to understand now that these cars aren't replaceable anymore. They're not something that you can just toss aside and treat like crap and just not care about it. So, in saying all of that, a few things that I think we need to see change in the car community. One, we need to start respecting our cars and treating them like they actually are something irreplaceable. Start focusing on learning to drive properly. Learn to drive on tracks and things in those environments where you can actually have room for making mistakes. Yes, I understand that some places don't have access to tracks. I'm not going to say that it's okay to go into the mountains and go on public roads and do that type of thing. But at the same time, I do understand those situations where people that really want to get into car culture and stuff like that, they can't get to a racetrack. And that is unfortunate. But I am sure you can find a place where you can do it safely, not bother other people, and not get an attitude of just stuff and F everyone in the world. Who cares? I just want to do what I want to do. And, not care about what the other people around them. I'm sure there's a place where you can do that safely, where you can organize even with some businesses that have massive car parks and stuff and throw on drift events and stuff on weekends and things like that, where you can hire that space out. I'm sure you can talk to your local police and organize something like that for these people that want to get in and experience and learn how to drive their cars and get into motorsport. I'm sure that if you try hard enough, that you can find a way to do that legally, safely, and have fun together, okay? So, I'm not saying that in those instances where people can't get to tracks that, that going out on private roads or in public on roads and stuff, that, by all means, if you are going to do that and go on public roads and practice that type of driving, do it in a safe place where there is no other traffic, there is no other cars, where you're not going to bother other public people, okay? Please do that. Don't just do it in random places on the street where there's other cars around you, where you're putting other people's lives in harm, okay? Because if you do that, that's not going to do anything good for the car community, okay? Now, next thing is we need to start treating one another with respect. If I choose to do a modification to my car that you don't like, it's none of your business. You respect me. If you're my friend, if you're someone in the car community, you look at my car and you go, hey, that's not something I don't like, but that's okay because the person who owns that, that's what they like. And that's awesome because he's done what he loves. And that's everything that this community should be about. saying, hey, that is awesome because that is unique, because that is how he likes it. Okay? Please, like, burn that into your DNA. And guys, stop doing skids to leave. Stop being irresponsible. Start actually being really responsible when you're at these car meets and social gatherings, because you're going to have all these young people coming that are looking up for a mentor and looking up to someone to really like look up to and learn from. And if you're all being irresponsible, times that by 10 when they start doing that, because they're just going to see that and go, I want to do that better than him. I want to do that and get, more views and looked at more than that person. So if I go turn the dial up to 11 of what that person did, that's what they're going to do. As a young person looking up to someone and saying, hey, I want to be better than them in the future, this is how it works. As a young person, they always look up to elders and other people in the community to go, hey, I want to one day be where they're at, but better. So if you're being irresponsible and they think that that's like the margin, the baseline, they're going to turn that up to 11 and try doing 10 times better than that. So please, stop being irresponsible at social gatherings. Start realizing that there are younger people around you looking up to you and going, please show me how I'm supposed to act. Please show me how I'm supposed to treat my car. Please show me how I'm supposed to treat one another. And if you guys start realizing that, then we're going to start growing such a solid and strong community of people that respect one another, their cars, the community, and then the community, the general normal people out there are going to start respecting us and stop treating us like we're a bunch of bogans that are just doing burnouts and trying to bother everyone and putting other people's lives in harm's way. So, I don't know, I think I'm going to leave the video here. I think I've ranted on a whole bunch of stuff. But did I make any sense to you guys? Do you feel the same way? Do you feel that sometimes when you leave an event or a social gathering with your friends at car meets and stuff like that, do you feel like there's a bad taste still in your mouth? Like something's not right? Is there something in the back of your head that's telling you that we need to change and we need to change quick? Because if we don't, we're in trouble. Anyways, I don't know. Tell me in the comment section what you think. I want to talk to you guys more about this. Let's see what we can do. I'm sorry that this video was just me talking to you guys, but I really think this is something we need to get out there and talk about more. So anyways, once again, thanks heaps for watching. Make sure if you're new here to this channel that you hit the subscribe button. And if you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next video. But please, 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 tell me in the comment section what you thought. Hit the like button. Share this video with everyone in your car community, in your car culture, like area and niche kind of audience, because I want to know what everyone's thoughts are about this. If you think that I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. If you think that I'm right and you want to band together and help me change the car community, then let's do that. Let's actually make this something self-sustaining and something that's going to create, I don't know, awesome drivers or just let everyone leave an event with a good taste in their mouth and feeling accomplished at something. Anyways, I've ranted on a little bit more there. Let's just end the video here. As always, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao, matane.